on the highlight reel. This is classic Evan Longoria.
Carpenter with a high fly ball. Goodbye! Let's have some fun on this night.
Giddy up, baby, giddy up! Oh, Kyle Seager's back!
David Wright showing off the big-time power.
Come on, does it get any better than that? It's the Anthony Rendon show.
Josh Harrison does it again. That's impossible. He could not possibly have done that.
All right, you're looking at the Shredders rankings, 10 through number 3. The top 2 coming up in just a moment. Mike Lowell is with us, so we carry around these cards all the time. So we have our own top 10s. We've been promising our own top 10 list. So here we go. We're going to have Mike's top 10, have my top 10, and not a drastic difference between the two. So at the top, Mike, why don't you go through? You had Adrian Beltre, number 1, Josh Donaldson, 2, and take it from there.
Well, you know, my 2, I think, are elite players. Like you, Brian Kenny.
Yep.
But the surprising thing for me versus the Shredder is I see Harrison, Kyle Seager, and Matt Carpenter ahead of Evan Longoria. I go back to those 6 outstanding seasons and 1 down year. I would say that's kind of the thing where I would say the Shredder, I don't agree with you.
Right. I agree. By the way, I'm with you. You can see now I've got Wright and Longoria 3-4. You've got Wright. You're 4-5. So we're about the same on that. Where we differ is you have Josh Harrison, though, in your top 10. You've got him 6. I don't have him in at all. I have Todd Frazier in number 8. I'm a big believer in Todd Frazier. I think he had 2 excellent years, and then his 1 bad year was in between. I think that's where the Shredder cut him loose.
Yeah, and I struggled with not putting Todd Frazier in my top 10. I mean, for me, it was tough, I think. But you're looking at some real solid names. I mean, does the Shredder know something we don't? I mean, you hear Sandoval, Machado, Frazier. These are great names. Do they make the top 2, or are they going to unseat one of these monsters, or what?
Right. So that's now Manny Machado. Look, I think he's kind of overrated, actually, but I got to respect. He's doing that all at age 20, age 21. So I'm thinking going into age 22 season, I put him in my top 10. You didn't put him in your top 10.
I did not. And for me, it was more of a health thing. I actually think I had him 4 or 3 last year. Like, I was very high on because I thought all those doubles were going to, not all of them, but several doubles would translate into home runs. We didn't see it. He got hurt. Still an outstanding player. He's a guy that could crack the top 5 next year.
And a guy that has your former position at Fenway Park at third base. You've got Kung Fu Panda at number 10. He did not make my top 10. So would he be in the top 2 for the Shredder? Here we go. Number 2 on the Shredder's list, part of that stunning offseason trade, formerly of the A's, now with the Toronto Blue Jays. At number 2, it's Josh Donaldson. Donaldson is going into his age 29 season. He just finished his 2nd of back-to-back years that have turned him into one of the game's top players. He's played in 158 games in each of the last 2 seasons. He gets on base and hits for power in a pitcher's park. And his defensive metrics at third base are just about the very best in the game. It has people wondering if it can possibly be that good. Now, those defensive metrics contribute to the overall wins above replacement. And going by WAR, Donaldson has contributed more wins to his team than anyone in the game over the last 2 seasons, other than Mike Trout. He now moves to Toronto after a deal sent him to the AL East and a team that hopes that he puts them over the top. Now, see, even I would look at that and say, wait a second, I don't know if he's that good. Like, is he Andrew McCutchen, Mike Trout good? But I think it makes me open to the possibility that his fielding and his hitting could all make him into that type of superstar player. You have him number 2, so you're thinking yes, right?
Absolutely. I mean, whether you agree or disagree with the defensive metrics, I think we all agree that he is a plus defender.
Yeah.
Is it that high where you can put him in that range of a Mike Trout or a McCutchen? I'm not sure, but what I do know is in that park in Oakland against a tough pitching division in that AL West, he's moving to the AL East. You're talking instead of Oakland, Anaheim, Seattle, it's translating into Baltimore, Toronto, Yankee Stadium, even Fenway Park. I think his 2013 numbers where he slugged around 500, was on base at about 385, were outstanding, top 5 MVP type numbers. I think, and there's a little bit of a dip in 14, still outstanding. I think it's going to be somewhere closer to 13 than 14. I mean, this guy can do everything on both sides of the field, and that's why he's my number 2.
Yeah, all right, so at number 2, it's Josh Donaldson. Now it's time for number 1 on the Shredder's list, the best third baseman in all of baseball. The Shredder is going with I could just one more time say, and still the top third baseman in the game. It's Adrian Beltre of the Texas Rangers. Beltre is going into his age 36 season, but while others are going up and down in their hitting, we'll talk about some great players here. Beltre has been a consistent producer. He's got a 388 on base, slugging 492 last year. He does play in Hitter's Park, but those are serious numbers, and he does them year after year, all while playing outstanding defense at this position. There's a lot of new blood at third, but Beltre stays on top. So let's go way back 5 full years, and even with David Wright and Evan Longoria at this position, Beltre is #1 in games, home runs, RBIs, and the overall measurement of hitting, weighted runs created plus. Beltre's still the king as he passes through his mid-30s. Yeah, remember a few years ago, Mike, we've been doing this a few years together now, where it's like, oh, this superstar talent, and Beltre has always been in the mix. You got to give him credit. The other stars have dropped down. He stayed up at the top.
Yeah, he's like fine wine, BK. Let's take a look at why he's so good. He's going into his 18th season. I mean, he gets better with age. One thing that I did notice looking at his tape, in 2014, over 60% of his hits were up the middle the other way. This is a guy that's using the whole field. Look at those OPS numbers from 2 years, the last 2 years. They are exactly the same. You throw him a fastball inside of 92, he can turn it to left. This is an 0-2 pitch. Doesn't try it too much, hits it to center. He's using whatever the pitcher gives him. 97 away, no problem. I take it to right. And, and defensively, he ranks as one of the top players. And in commercials and in some shows they say don't try this at home. No, try this at home. Try running into field a slow roller, having to throw to first, and then step. Look at this, BK. Look at this. He steps away. If that doesn't show you what arm strength is, I don't think that's what makes him a good defender. I think it just shows you the overall athlete that he is. And I mean, this guy is 396 hits away from 3,000, 4 home runs away from 400. He's a future Hall of Famer in my book.
Yeah, people are talking about that, and I think it makes perfect sense as he keeps putting in these seasons.